The city of Jaren never slept. Its streets burned with light from alien fires, and its air shook with the noise of hundreds of tongues. In the center of the city was the Market of Shame, a place where living beings were sold like broken tools. Rows of cages lined the ground, some made of iron, some of strange glowing glass. Inside them were slaves from across the galaxy, strong ones with muscles, tall ones with 4 arms, even rare creatures with golden eyes. Buyers walked between the cages, their faces hard, their voices cruel. They shouted prices, they laughed at pain. But in the last cage, away from the lights, sat one that nobody wanted. She was small, her skin pale and bruised, her mouth broken with missing teeth, her eyes dark with hopelessness. She did not cry, she did not beg. She only sat silent. She looked like she had already given up. The traders mocked her. 2 credits, one laughed. Not even worth a meal. Another spat on the ground. A waste of space. They had tried to sell her for weeks, but nobody touched her cage. Nobody wanted a beaten thing with nothing to give. The alien girl had no name now. She had forgotten it long ago. Every day she was beaten. Every day she was called useless. Her body carried scars, her mind carried fear. She waited only for the day her cage would open for death, not for freedom, and then he came. Marcus was human, one of the few who traveled alone through alien cities. He was tall but not powerful. His clothes were plain, his eyes tired from long journeys. He had no family, no home, only silence around him. He walked into the market with no plan. He only wanted to see. The traders smiled when they saw him. Human. You want a fighter? A worker? A singer? They dragged out strong aliens to show him. This one can lift a ship wing. This one can fight 10 men. But Marcus's eyes moved past them. His steps slowed near the last cage. The cage in the dark corner. The cage with the girl no one wanted. She lifted her head weakly. Their eyes met for a second. His gaze did not turn away in disgust. It did not mock, it only stayed calm, steady, almost gentle. She had not seen such eyes in years. The trader noticed. He laughed. That one? Broken teeth, broken bones, broken spirit. She is trash. Take her for 2 credits if you like, cheaper than a meal. The market roared with cruel laughter. Marcus said only one word. Sold. The laughter grew louder. People clapped, others shouted. The human is mad, he buys trash. The trader unlocked the cage, dragging the girl out. Her legs shook, she almost fell. They pushed her toward Marcus. She stood small in front of him, shaking, afraid he would strike her like the others did. But Marcus did not strike. He knelt down to her level, his voice low. You are free now. The girl blinked. She did not understand. Free? The word felt strange on her tongue. She thought it was a lie. Yes, Marcus said, handing the trader his credits. You are not property anymore. The trader shrugged. Happy to be rid of her, he threw Marcus the cage key. The crowd jeered as Marcus placed his cloak gently around her shoulders. He guided her out of the market while insults followed. On the streets outside, the girl walked beside him, still shaking, still waiting for pain. Every sound made her flinch. Every step made her think chains would return. Marcus said nothing more. He only kept walking. Night came fast in Jaren. Neon lights lit the streets. Shadows grew deep. Marcus led her to a small room he had rented, a place with 1 bed, 1 chair, and silence. She stood at the doorway, too afraid to enter. You are safe here, he told her, his voice calm. No one will hurt you. She sat slowly on the floor, curling her arms around her knees, watching him, waiting for the hidden cruelty. She had learned long ago that kindness was always followed by pain, but Marcus did not touch her. He did not raise his voice, he only gave her food, a small piece of bread and water. When she refused, thinking it was a trick, he ate a piece himself and left the rest beside her. Hours passed, the city outside rumbled, but in the small room there was only quiet. Marcus lay on the bed, the girl sat awake, staring at the bread, at the man who had bought her not for power, not for labor, but for something she did not yet understand. She whispered to herself so low that he did not hear. Why? And in her chest, for the first time in many years, something small moved, something warm, almost like hope. But as her eyes began to close, a strange glow flickered faintly under her skin. A light too soft to notice in the dark. A secret that no trader had cared to see. A secret that could change everything. And Marcus, half asleep, turned his head just enough to see the shimmer before it vanished. His heart beat faster. His mind whispered a question, who is she really? The city of Jaren woke with noise. Merchants shouted, ships roared above, and the smell of smoke and oil filled the air. But inside the small rented room, silence ruled. Marcus opened his eyes slowly. his body heavy from restless sleep. He turned his head toward the corner. The alien girl was still there, curled up, her arms wrapped tight around her knees. She had not touched the bread. Her eyes stared blank into the wall. But Marcus noticed something different, a faint memory of light from last night. He wondered if he had only dreamed it. He stood and spoke gently. "You must eat." His voice was calm, not a command but a request. He broke the bread into small pieces and placed them in her hand. She flinched, expecting a strike, but no strike came slowly with trembling fingers. She lifted one piece to her mouth. Her broken teeth struggled to chew. But she ate. For Marcus, it was only bread, but for her, it was the first meal given without chains. Without shouting, it felt unreal. Outside, people laughed when they saw Marcus with her. "The human bought trash," they whispered. He could have chosen strength, but he chose weakness. Their words followed him like shadows. Yet Marcus never answered. He only walked with her at his side. The girl walked close but never touched him, her steps small, her eyes always searching, as if danger would strike from every corner. At the market, buyers offered him deals. "Trade her," one said, showing a tall alien with silver skin. "Take this one instead, strong, fast, worth more." Marcus shook his head. "No," another laughed. "Then sell her back. I will give you food for a week." "She is worthless," Marcus answered, only with silence. The girl could not understand. Why did he refuse better offers? Why did he keep her? She had been told all her life she was nothing, and yet this man, this lonely human, carried her away from the cage. As night came again, she sat in the room. Watching him, she wanted to ask, but her voice shook. Finally, she whispered, "Why me?" Marcus looked at her for a long moment, his eyes calm. "Because you are alive," he said simply. "And life is not trash." The words confused her. She had no memory of anyone saying such things. To her people, life had been beaten out. To the traders, life was only weight to sell that night. Marcus saw something strange while she slept. Her body trembled. Lines of faint light glowed beneath her skin, soft and quick like stars under the surface. Her face twisted with fear, as if even in dreams she ran from pain. Marcus did not wake her, but his heart knew she carried a secret far greater than her broken body. The next morning, whispers followed them again, but now darker in the shadows of alleys. Figures watched, their eyes sharp, hunters. Marcus felt the weight of their stares but said nothing. He only guided the girl through safer paths. As they reached the edge of the city, the girl finally spoke more. Her voice broken but clear. "They hurt me because I was different." She touched her chest with thin fingers. "Inside me is power." Marcus stopped, his heart quickened. "Power," she nodded slowly, fear in her eyes. "But it is broken. Like me." She turned away, ashamed. Before Marcus could answer, a sound cut through the street. Boots striking the ground fast. Hunters appeared from the shadows, armed with alien weapons, their faces covered with masks. "Hand her over," one shouted, his voice sharp. "The girl belongs to us." The girl froze, her body shook. Her hands glowed faintly as if reacting to the danger. Marcus stepped in front of her. "She belongs to no one," he said, his voice steady but his hands tight at his sides. The hunters laughed. "Foolish human, you think you can keep her? She is cursed, she carries danger that will burn the galaxy." The girl cried softly. "I told you." Broken, but Marcus did not move. "She is my choice," he said firmly. "She is my family now." The hunters raised their weapons. The air crackled with energy. The girl's glow grew brighter. Uncontrolled sparks snapping around her fingers, she shook her head. "No. I cannot. I will hurt you too." Marcus looked back at her, his voice low and strong. "Then hurt them. Not yourself," the hunters charged, the street filled with light. Explosions shook the ground, smoke rose into the air. People screamed and scattered when the dust cleared. Marcus stood holding the girl's arm, her body weak, her eyes wide with shock. Around them, the hunters lay broken. Their weapons burned into ash. She gasped, terrified of herself. "I did not mean to." Her whole body shook. "They will come now, more will come, they always come." Marcus pulled her close, his voice a whisper. "Then we run, but we run together." From the rooftops above, unseen eyes watched, more shadows hidden in the night. Whispers carried through comms. "Target located, last of her kind confirmed." "Prepare pursuit." The girl's glow dimmed. Her body weak, she leaned against Marcus, and in her heart, she feared more than death itself. She feared losing the only person who had ever chosen her. And as the night swallowed them, One question burned louder than all the rest. Why is the last of her kind worth only 2 credits? The night after the attack was heavy with silence. Marcus led the girl through empty streets, their shadows long under the neon lights. The city of Jaren seemed louder than before. Whispers spread fast here, markets talked, hunters listened, and secrets traveled quicker than fire. The girl walked close, her steps weak, her arms trembling. Every time she blinked, she saw again the hunters burning in her light. She shook with fear. I did not want to hurt them, she whispered, her voice low. I cannot control it. Marcus kept his hand steady on her shoulder. You are alive. That is what matters, he said, but inside, his mind turned with questions. What power lived inside this broken girl? Why was it sold so cheap? Why did no one notice except him? They found shelter in an old cargo hangar at the edge of the city. Dust lay thick. Broken machines rested in silence. Marcus built a small fire. The girl sat near it, hugging her knees. Her eyes lost in the flames, he asked carefully. What are you called? She shook her head. No name now, she said, her voice hollow. Names were beaten away. Marcus nodded slowly. Then I will call you later when you are ready. For a long time, only the fire spoke. Sparks danced, shadows moved. Then at last she whispered again. They hunted my people because of what we are. Marcus leaned closer. What are you? Her eyes filled with pain. We were light bearers, she said, the words shaking in her mouth. Inside us burns the starfire. It can heal, it can destroy. My people were feared, so they were killed. Only I remain. Marcus felt the weight of her words. Last of your kind, he repeated. She nodded, her hands glowing faintly as if her body remembered her bloodline. But I am broken. My power comes with pain. My teeth broken, my body weak. I was left alive because they thought I could do nothing. Outside, in the dark alleys of Jaren, watchers listened. Hunters were not the only ones interested. A secret network of spies passed the message. The last light bearer lives. A human carries her. Whispers traveled across the city like wind through fire. The next morning, Marcus traded what little he had for food. Rumors followed him like shadows. Strangers looked twice, some with pity, others with greed. He knew they could not stay long. When he returned to the hangar, the girl was drawing in the dust, small shapes of stars and circles, her hand glowing faintly as she traced. Marcus watched quietly. Her power was not only destruction, it was memory. She carried the sky inside her, he asked. What is it you draw? She answered softly. Home. Then her hand stopped, trembling. But home is gone. Burned to ash. Marcus wanted to tell her she was safe now. But before he spoke, a noise echoed through the hangar. The metal door creaked. Shadows slid inside. Figures stepped forward. Not traitors, not hunters, but cloaked strangers, their eyes glowing red under masks. They carried no chains, only silence. The leader spoke. His voice cold. Human, hand the girl to us. She carries power that should not live. We will take her. Marcus stood, blocking their path. She is not yours. The cloaked figure tilted his head. Do you know what she is? Do you know what death will follow if she stays with you? Marcus's jaw tightened. I know enough. The girl shook her head, fear filling her. Marcus, they are not hunters. They are seekers. Her voice cracked. They kill all who carry starfire. The seekers moved closer, their steps slow but certain. Their weapons strange, glowing with symbols of old. The fire between them hissed. Marcus reached for the iron pipe beside him. His only weapon, but the seekers did not fear it. They lifted their hands, light shimmered in their palms. Not like her glow, but dark, corrupted. Stolen power. The girl cried out. They carry fragments of my people. Twisted pieces stolen from the dead. The seeker's leader smiled beneath his mask. We will finish what was started. The hangar exploded with light and sound. Sparks burned, machines collapsed. Marcus grabbed the girl's arm, dragging her through the back door. Their footsteps pounded on the metal floor. The seekers chased, their whispers filling the air. Last of her kind. She must die. They ran into the night streets. Chaos around them, markets breaking, alarms sounding. The girl stumbled, her body weak, but inside her chest the starfire burned. She gasped, I cannot keep running. They will not stop. Marcus turned, his voice fierce. Then we make them stop. The seekers caught up, surrounding them near a ruined fountain. They're circled tight, their voices chanting. The last light bearer must be silenced. The girl's eyes glowed brighter. Fear mixing with rage, the air cracked, the ground shook. Marcus placed his hand on her shoulder, steady, strong. Do not fear what you are, he said. Her glow burst forth blinding white. The Seekers screamed, their dark power twisted in the light. The fountain shattered. Stones flew. The city shook as if struck by thunder. When the light faded, the Seekers were gone. Their cloaks turned to ash. The streets broken. Silence heavy again. The girl fell to her knees, gasping, her skin pale, her body weak. Marcus caught her before she hit the ground. He whispered, "You are not broken. You are more than they fear." She looked at him with tears. But more will come. They always come. Above them, hidden in the dark sky, a ship hovered unseen by most, its eyes watching, its signal carrying one message across the stars. Target confirmed. Last of her kind alive, prepare capture, and in that moment, Marcus knew their fight was only beginning. The city of Jaren did not rest after the battle. Smoke drifted across broken streets. Alarms howled from towers and whispers filled the air. Everyone had seen the light that tore through the Seekers. Everyone now knew the last light-bearer lived. Marcus carried the girl through alleys. Her body weak, her head resting against his chest, she breathed in shallow gasps. Her glow had dimmed, her strength drained. "I cannot keep running," she whispered. "They will hunt me everywhere." Marcus tightened his grip, his voice firm. "Then we do not stay still. We move until they cannot follow." But already he felt eyes watching. Shadow shifting, the city itself had become their cage. Bounty hunters stirred. Merchants whispered into hidden devices. Messages traveled faster than feet. The girl lives, the girl glows. They reached the edge of the city, where metal towers turned into wastelands of sand and rust. Marcus found an old transport buried in dust. Its frame bent, its engine silent. He worked with shaking hands, sparks leaping as he rewired old circuits. The girl sat nearby, her eyes watching the stars above. "Do you ever wish to stop?" Marcus asked, his voice low as he worked. Her eyes filled with sadness. "Yes," she said, "but if I stop, the galaxy stops with me. That is why they want me gone." The engine roared weakly. Coughing but alive, Marcus pulled her inside. The transport lifted into the night sky. The city below shrinking, but escape was not clean. Shadows rose behind them, ships of hunters, fast and sharp, their engines screaming like predators. The girl's hands trembled. Light flickered around her. "I cannot control it in the air," she said, fear shaking her words. "You do not have to," Marcus answered, gripping the controls. "Leave flying to me." The hunters fired, red bolts cutting through the dark. Explosions shook the transport. Marcus weaved between broken towers, sparks flying from the old metal frame. The girl held tight, her eyes wide. One bolt struck the side. Flames burst, alarm screamed inside. The ship groaned. Marcus cursed under his breath. "She will not last long." The girl closed her eyes, whispering words Marcus did not understand. Her body glowing, the flames bent away from them, as if the light pushed fire itself aside. Marcus stared in awe. "You saved us." Her head dropped, her body weak again. "Not for long," she whispered. They flew beyond the city into endless desert. The hunters still close, their numbers growing, signals flashing between them. Marcus knew they could not outrun forever. His mind raced, searching for any way to turn the chase. In the distance, sharp black cliffs rose, cracked open like the teeth of giants. He steered toward them. The hunters followed, but inside the cracks the air grew tight. Rocks closed in. Only a narrow path remained. Marcus forced the transport through, scraping metal, sparks flying. The hunters hesitated. 2 ships crashed against the stone. Exploding in flame, the others pulled back slightly. For a moment there was silence. Only the groan of the transport. Marcus breathed hard, sweat on his brow. But his victory was short above the cliffs. A shadow larger than all appeared. A warship, its body black as night, its cannons glowing. The girl gasped. "That is not hunters. That is the Order." Her voice filled with terror. "They destroyed my people." The warship spoke with a voice like thunder. "Surrender the light-bearer or be erased." Marcus gritted his teeth, his hands tight on the controls. "We cannot fight that." The girl shook her head, tears in her eyes. "Let me go, Marcus. Give me to them. Maybe they will leave you alive." His eyes burned as he looked at her. "No," he said, fierce. "I did not choose you to give you away." The warship's cannons lit, energy building. The cliffs shook with power. Marcus pulled hard on the controls, driving the transport deep into the cracks. The blasts struck behind them, rocks collapsing, fire chasing. The transport fell into darkness, tunnels beneath the cliffs swallowing them. Metal screamed as they scraped through. sparks and dust filling the air. Finally, the ship crashed down, skidding to a stop in a cavern wide and black. Silence followed, broken only by the drip of water from unseen stone. Marcus coughed, pulling himself free from the broken seat. The girl lay weak but breathing, her faint glow lighting the cavern walls. She whispered, "We cannot keep running. They will never stop, not the hunters, not the seekers, not the order." Marcus sat beside her, his chest heavy but his eyes steady. "Then we find a way to make them stop." From the shadows of the cavern, a figure moved, old, cloaked, eyes glowing faintly with the same light as hers. His voice echoed, "Perhaps you are ready to learn what she truly is." The girl's eyes widened in shock. "It cannot be," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I am not the last." The cavern echoed with silence after the crash. Dust hung in the air. The faint glow from the girl's body painted the stone walls in pale light. Marcus held her close, his breath rough, his eyes fixed on the shadow that stepped forward. The figure was tall, cloaked in rags, his face hidden, but his eyes glowed with the same starfire light that pulsed faintly beneath the girl's skin. She trembled, her voice breaking. "No, it is not possible," she whispered. "I was told I was the last." The figure's voice was low, deep, carrying weight. "They wanted you to believe that," he said, "so you would live in despair, so you would not rise. But you are not alone." Marcus stood slowly, his hand still on the girl's shoulder. "Who are you?" The cloaked figure lowered his hood, revealing a face lined with scars, his hair silver, his eyes glowing like stars trapped in human form. "I am Elion," he said. "I was of her people. I am what remains, hidden, hunted, waiting." The girl's breath caught. "Then you are my kin," Elion nodded, sadness in his gaze. "Our kind was nearly destroyed. Scattered across the void, few of us survived, each of us broken. Hiding in shadows, we are whispers now, but we are not gone." Marcus frowned, his voice heavy. "The seekers, the hunters, the order, they all came for her. They said she was the last. Why keep you alive?" Elion's face darkened. "Because I hid, because I let others die while I ran. I carry the shame of survival, but she was different, she was chosen." The girl shook her head, tears in her eyes. "Chosen for what? I am broken. I cannot control the fire, it only brings death." Elion stepped closer, kneeling before her, his glowing eyes steady. "You are not broken, child. The starfire inside you is whole. It is you who have been beaten until you believe the lie. But the truth is this, the galaxy fears us because we hold what they cannot touch. Life itself, creation and destruction in one flame." Marcus looked at the girl, her small body trembling, her hands glowing faintly as if reacting to Elion's words. He spoke gently. "You see, they are afraid of you because you matter, not because you are nothing." The cavern shook suddenly. Rocks falling, dust rising, a distant boom echoed through the tunnels. Elion's face tightened. "The order has tracked us. Their warship is moving above, they will dig us out." Marcus cursed under his breath. "Then we cannot stay," Elion nodded. "There is a path below, through rivers of stone. I will lead you." They moved deeper into the cavern, their footsteps echoing. The girl leaning on Marcus as Elion guided with his glowing eyes. The tunnels twisted like a maze. Water dripped from the ceiling, their breath turning cold as they walked. Elion told pieces of the past. "We were healers once, builders. We carried the starfire to grow worlds, to bring light to dark places, but power is always hunted. The Order saw us as weapons. When we refused, they burned our worlds. They made sure only ashes remained," the girl whispered, her voice small. "And now me," Elion stopped, turning to her. "And now you, the last born with pure flame. You are not meant to run forever. You are meant to rise. But you must choose," Marcus frowned. "Choose what?" Elion's voice dropped lower, his words heavy. "To keep running until you fall, or to stand and burn the chains of the galaxy?" Before Marcus could answer, the ground shook harder, rocks cracked. A beam of red light tore through the cavern wall. Seekers poured in, cloaked and chanting, their weapons glowing. "Hand her over," they cried, their voices like broken steel. "The last of her kind must die." Elion raised his hands, his starfire glowing, brighter than the girl had ever seen. "Stay behind me," he ordered, his voice thunder. The cavern exploded with light, Elion's fire clashing with the Seeker's darkness. Sparks like suns burst across stone. Marcus pulled the girl back, shielding her from falling rocks, her eyes wide with terror and awe. "Is he strong enough?" Marcus shouted. The girl shook her head. "He cannot hold them all." not alone, and then, for the first time, she did not feel fear of her power. She felt anger. She felt fire. Her hands glowed brighter and brighter, her body trembling. "I will not watch another die for me," she cried. Her voice fierce. Marcus grabbed her arm, his eyes steady. "Then do it with control, not with fear, with me beside you." She closed her eyes, drew a breath, and the cavern roared with white light. Seekers screamed, their cloaks burning. Elion's voice lifted. "Yes, child, yes. Remember who you are." When the light faded, the Seekers lay broken, their weapons ash, the cavern walls glowing faint from heat. Elion dropped to his knees, exhausted but alive. The girl collapsed into Marcus's arms, tears on her cheeks, her body trembling from the power she had released. I felt it," she whispered. "For the first time. It did not break me." Elion smiled faintly, his scarred face soft for the first time. "Because you are not broken, you are the last of us, and you are strong enough to carry all we lost." But his smile faded as new sounds filled the air. Deeper, heavier, metal grinding. Ships landing above, the order themselves had come. Elion's face grew grim. The hunters and seekers were only shadows. Now the true fire comes, and in that dark cavern. Marcus held the girl tight, her glow faint but alive, while above, the galaxy's greatest enemy prepared to strike. The ground shook like a living beast. Dust rained from the cavern ceiling. Above them, engines roared. Heavy and merciless, the order had arrived. Elion's scarred face hardened, his eyes glowing with sharp fire. "They have found us," he said. "This is no longer a hunt of shadows. This is war." Marcus tightened his grip on the girl, her glow faint from exhaustion. She leaned against his chest, her breath weak. "We cannot fight an army," Marcus said. "We cannot win like this." Elion's gaze did not soften. "We do not choose the war, human, but it has chosen us." The girl shook her head, tears trembling in her eyes. "No, I cannot. I am not ready every time I use the fire. I break inside." Marcus crouched low, holding her shoulders firm, his voice steady even as rocks fell around them. "Listen to me," he said. "You are not alone anymore. You don't carry this by yourself. If the fire breaks you, then let me carry the pieces. Because you are my family now." Her breath caught, her eyes wide. No one had ever spoken such words to her. The word family burned deeper than any scar. Before she could answer, the cavern wall exploded. A storm of red light blasted through. Armored soldiers of the order marched in, their faces hidden by steel masks, their weapons glowing with deadly power. Their leader stepped forward, taller than the rest, his voice cold and cruel. "Surrender the light-bearer, and we may spare you a quick death." Marcus rose, his fist tight. "She is not yours," he said, his voice sharp as a blade. The leader laughed, a sound like broken iron. "Foolish human. She is the end of worlds. You cannot protect her." Elion raised his hands, starfire glowing like a second sun. "Then let us see whose fire burns brighter." The cavern erupted in chaos. Blasts of energy struck stone. Fire clashed with fire. Elion unleashed waves of light that tore through the soldiers. But for everyone that fell, more entered, their shadows endless. Marcus pulled the girl behind broken rocks. Covering her as the cavern shook, she trembled, her hands glowing faintly. "I cannot." "I'm afraid," she whispered. He turned her face to his voice low but fierce. "Fear is not weakness, it means you still care. But if you let fear rule, you will lose everything. Use it, control it, and fight." Her glow pulsed stronger. Her broken teeth gritted, her breath steadying. "If I fight, I will not stop," she whispered. "I could burn everything." Marcus placed his forehead to hers for a moment. "Then burn for us, not against us." A scream shook the cavern. Elion was struck, his body thrown back, blood glowing from wounds across his chest. The soldiers pressed forward, their leader raising his weapon for the killing strike. The girl's eyes blazed, her fear turning into fire. She rose from behind the rocks, her small figure glowing brighter, until the cavern itself seemed filled with dawn. Her voice rang out, sharp and fierce. "You will not take him." Her body erupted with starfire, waves of light tearing through the ranks of soldiers, their armor melting, their weapons burning to ash. The leader staggered, shielding his face as the glow blinded even him. Marcus shielded his eyes, his heart pounding. Her fire was not wild anymore, not broken. It was fierce and focused, every blast hitting true. The cavern walls cracked. Rivers of molten stone poured from the heat. The soldiers screamed as they fell into the fire. The Order's warship above shook as the energy burst through the tunnels like a storm. But the cost was heavy. Her body trembled, her skin pale, blood on her lips. Marcus caught her as she stumbled. "Enough! You will kill yourself," he begged. Her voice was weak but steady. "If I stop now, you die, Elion dies. Everything dies." Marcus held her tighter, his voice breaking. "Then let me fight too. It is not only your fire that matters. I may not glow, but I will stand beside you." Her eyes softened, a single tear glowing on her cheek. "Family," she whispered, and the word gave her strength. Together they rose, Elion struggling to his feet behind them. The three faced the Order's leader as the cavern burned. The leader snarled, his armor cracked, but his voice still cruel. "You think one child, one broken human, and one scarred coward can fight the Order?" Marcus stepped forward, his body small against the armored giant, but his voice rang with iron. "We are not three, we are fire. We are family." The girl's glow flared. Elion's fire rose once more. The cavern filled with burning light. The Order's leader raised his weapon. The clash was inevitable, and then, as the fire reached its peak, a voice thundered from above, carried through the cavern walls, heavy and merciless. "Enough. Bring them to me alive." The warship's core lit with a power greater than any seen before. Beams of red carved into the earth. The cavern split open, the floor collapsing. Marcus, the girl, and Elion fell into the abyss, swallowed by darkness and fire. Darkness swallowed them. Stone and fire fell as the cavern collapsed. Marcus clutched the girl with both arms. Elion's broken body beside them. They tumbled through dust and flame. When they hit ground, the air was thick with smoke. Cracks of red light from the warship burned through the stone above. The earth groaned like a wounded beast. Marcus coughed, his chest heavy. The girl lay in his arms, her glow faint but alive. Elion dragged himself forward, his scars glowing with weak fire. "We cannot stay here," he said, his voice rough. "The Order will tear the ground until nothing remains." Marcus stood, his body aching but his grip firm. "Then we keep moving." "No matter what." The girl stirred, her eyes half open, her voice weak. "Marcus, I cannot fight again. I gave everything." He knelt, pressing his forehead to hers. "Then you don't fight alone," he whispered. "We fight together." They stumbled through a narrow tunnel that opened into a hidden chamber. Strange symbols lined the walls. Glowing faintly in the dark, Elion's eyes widened. "This is no ordinary cave," he whispered. "This is a temple of our kind." The chamber was vast, filled with stone pillars and pools of liquid light. The air hummed with old energy. The girl gasped, her body reacting, her glow pulsing stronger as if the place itself fed her fire. Marcus looked around, uneasy. "What is this place?" Elion's voice trembled. "It is where the Starfire was born, the heart of our people, long forgotten, hidden from the Order." The girl touched one of the pools. Her hand trembling, light spread across the surface. Stars flickered like a map of the galaxy. She whispered, "I feel them, all who came before. Their fire still lives here." Before Marcus could answer, the ground shook again, the Order's warship tearing deeper. Soldiers dropping into the chamber, armored countless, their leader stepping forward. His steel mask cracked but his voice cruel. "End it now," he thundered. "The last of your kind dies here." With her human pet, the girl fell back, fear in her eyes, but Marcus stood firm, his fists tight. "She will not die. Not while I breathe," the leader sneered. "You are only human, weak flesh. Why stand against fire you cannot hold?" Marcus's voice rang like iron. "Because I chose her, because family is not weakness. It is strength you cannot break." The girl's glow flared brighter at his words, the pools of light around them answering her call. Elion raised his hand, starfire burning. "This is not the end," he shouted. "This is the beginning." The chamber erupted in battle, light against steel, starfire burning through shadows. Marcus fought with raw will, striking soldiers with broken weapons, shielding the girl with his body. Every wound he took drove her fire brighter. The leader pushed forward, his weapon glowing red, striking Elion down. The old light-bearer fell, his fire flickering. But before death claimed him, he shouted, "Child, you are not broken. You are the flame of us all, rise." The girl screamed, her voice echoing like thunder, her body lifted in light, her broken teeth, her bruises, all forgotten in the glow that filled the chamber. She unleashed the starfire, not wild, not shattered, but whole. The soldiers burned away, their weapons turning to dust. The chamber walls shook with power. Even the Order's leader staggered, his steel mask melting. His voice twisted in fear. Impossible. She cannot. Marcus reached for her hand through the blaze, his voice steady. You are not alone. You are never alone. Her fire poured through the chamber, up into the warship above, tearing its engines apart. Flames ripping through the sky, the ground shook as the great ship fell in pieces. The galaxy itself seemed to echo with the roar. When the light dimmed, silence filled the chamber. The soldiers gone, the warship destroyed. Elian lay still, his last breath fading with a faint smile, his eyes glowing one final time. She is the last. But not alone, he whispered, then was gone. The girl collapsed into Marcus's arms, her body weak, her glow fading. I'm afraid, she whispered. If I carry this fire, they will never stop. The galaxy will chase us forever. Marcus held her close, his voice calm, steady as stone. Then let them chase, he said. We will keep moving, keep living, because you are not a weapon. You are my family, her eyes softened, tears shining like tiny stars. Family, she repeated, the word now strong in her mouth. They left the temple as dawn broke across the wastelands. The sky painted with fire from the wrecked warship. The galaxy would not forget what happened. Whispers would spread faster than ever. But as they walked side by side, Marcus holding her hand, her glow faint but warm, the message was clear. One human had chosen what the galaxy had thrown away, and because of that choice, a broken slave had risen as the last flame of her people. And somewhere deep inside, both of them knew the story was only beginning.